Oh! Hello! Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Recappa Sedai. Today we're going to talk about The Eye of the World, chapters 10 and 11. I'm trying to cut back on wine, so I sent a novice for some tea. Oh, thank you, Tivana. I don't see steam. Do you see steam? Get your ass to the Mistress of Novices now. I love watching them run. So, spoiler-free recap. Oh, I'm spilling everywhere. Hang on, I gotta clean this up. Chapter 10, Leave-Taking. Rand, Lan, and Mat walk into the stable, and Perrin is there. Lan asks Perrin, did you look like I asked you to? Perrin's like, yeah, I checked. There's no one here but us. Why would someone be hiding in the stable? Lan's like, hey, care and a long life go together. Which is very good. He should trademark that. Mat notices Rand's sword, and he's like, what are you, becoming a warder? Hey, Perrin, check this guy out. An honest Two Rivers bow isn't good enough for him. Rand's like, I don't know, it might be useful, shut up. They notice Perrin has a huge axe belted at his waist. Matt's like, hey, at least one of us has a real weapon, knows how to use it. Lan says to Mat, that bow is a real weapon. Anything can be a weapon. You better learn that if you want to reach Tarpaulin alive. Thanks, Mr. Cheerful. He's such a Debbie Downer. Rand, Mat, and Perrin kind of huddle and start talking quietly so Lan won't hear. Perrin's like, do you think we can really believe Moiraine? This is all kind of crazy. Rand's like, I don't know, I talked to the mayor, he kind of confirmed her story. Mat and Perrin are like, whoa, hold up, you talked to the mayor? Moiraine definitely told us not to tell anyone. Rand's like, well, I wasn't gonna not tell anyone. I mean, do you really think she meant no one? Mat and Perrin are like, yeah, dude, that's what don't tell anyone means. Rand's like, well, whatever. I talked to my dad. He believes Moiraine. He says we have to go. Suddenly, Moiraine shows up. You talked to your father about this journey? And you? Did you also decide a note wasn't enough after I told you not to tell anyone? Mat and Perrin are like, no, we would never. You told us not to. We follow instructions, unlike some people. Lan says the horses are ready. We can go whenever. I suggest now. And then Egwene says, not without me. Egwene walks into the stable. She's basically like, ta-da, I'm here, and I'm coming too. The boys are like, we did not tell her. We do not know why she's here. We are not with her. Egwene's like, look, you're not the only ones who want to get out of the Two Rivers and see the world. You think I'm gonna miss this chance? No. Mat's like, Egwene, we're not going on a picnic trip. And Egwene's like, really, Mat, you think? Rand's like, how did you even know we were going? I saw Mat sneaking around being super sketchy, Perrin's walking around town with a giant axe, and Lan's buying horses. I just put it together. Rand's like, Egwene, you cannot come with us. The Trollocs are after us. Egwene's like, oh, really, Rand? The Trollocs? Really? Moiraine says, enough. Does anyone else know we're going? Egwene's like, no. Just me. You only have to take me. Very well. You may come with us. For a second, Lan looks surprised, which for Lan is like having a full emotional breakdown. Lan's like, no, Moiraine, there's no reason for her to go, and every reason for her not to. It is part of the pattern, Lan, and there is reason for her to come. Lan says, fine, she can ride the Gleeman's horse. And then Tom Merrilin pokes his head out of the hayloft. He's like, that won't be possible. Lan's like, whoa, what the hell? He draws his sword. You can put that sword away. I am not a cheese for slicing. I'm coming too. Moiraine's like, this will be dangerous, Master Merrilin. Are you sure you want to come? Of course I'm sure. If it isn't too dangerous for the girl, it can't be too dangerous for me. Lan's like, let me guess, Moiraine. This is a part of the pattern too? Everything is part of the pattern. Moiraine puts a lot of faith in the pattern. Like, a lot. They saddle up Bela for Egwene, and Rand gets stuck with Cloud, who's a very fast racehorse, but not easy to ride. They all mount their horses and start to follow Lan through the village. Suddenly Lan stops and motions for silence. An armed patrol passes by them. Everyone's like, we're not here. We're not here. They keep going, but every time someone passes by, Lan stops them. He's got like a sixth sense when people are approaching. They make their way to the north edge of the village. They reach the road that leads to Turin Ferry. Rand's looking up at the moon. It's almost full. And then he sees this bat-shaped thing pass across the moon. Rand's like, what is that? It's too big to be a bat. It's probably not Batman. Seems like bad news. Lan says to Rand, what are you waiting for, boy? We've got to go. Rand's like, okay, so this is weird, but I just saw this bat-shaped thing. Does that mean anything to you? Maybe I'm just seeing things? I don't know. Lan says, drag car. Tom Merrilin's like, oh. Moiraine says, yeah, we should assume that's a drag car. And if the Murdral has a drag car, he's gonna know where we are pretty soon. We gotta move. Lan says, we take the North Road. For your lives, keep up with me. and they ride into the night. That's the end of chapter 10. We did it! Let's do another one. Chapter 11, The Road to Turin Ferry. You know what? I've changed my mind. I do want a glass of wine. Tivana! Oh, I forgot. I sent her to the Mistress of Novices. Wynonna, I need a glass of wine. Yes, the usual. What kind of question is that? Go! Can you believe her? So Moiraine's carpool is galloping on the road. Lan and Moiraine are in the lead. Bela's a cart horse. She's not meant for this, so Rand's really worried that Egwene is gonna fall behind. Rand's like, come on, Bela, come on, you can do it. And she's doing a pretty good job. Bella's keeping up. Rand sees lights in the distance and he realizes that's Watch Hill. He can't believe they've gotten here so quickly. Lan signals them all to stop and they dismount for a little break. Matt's like, I'm cool with staying the night in Watch Hill. I could go for a pie. Lan says, no, we cannot stop until we've crossed the Turin. Rand's like, okay, we're literally gonna kill these horses. Then he notices Moiraine is walking from horse to horse. She comes to Cloud and sets her hands on his neck. And then suddenly Cloud is super energized, like he's had a week's rest. Rand's like, oh, didn't know she could do that. Lan's like, really? She healed your dad and it didn't occur to you she could heal a horse? Moiraine tells Rand she's very impressed with Bela. Bella's actually less tired than the other horses. A scream ripped the darkness. Ah! The wind of the drag car's wings beat at Rand with a feel like the touch of slime. Cloud freaks out, all the horses are freaking out. Lan shouts at everyone, mount! If the drag car's willing to show itself, that means it's already told the Murdral where we are. We gotta go. Rand has a hard time with Cloud, but eventually he gets back on his horse and they all start galloping again. They can hear the drag car shrieking at them overhead. That took you forever. Rand sees Egwene's face and she looks super excited. She's like, this is so cool, I'm having the time of my life. Rand's shocked. His mouth is just hanging open and he actually swallows a fly and starts coughing, which is funny. As they ride, Rand starts to see patches of fog, which he thinks is weird. And then suddenly they're completely enveloped in this cloud of fog. It muffles the horse's steps, it muffles the sound of the drag car overhead. Rand realizes Moiraine must have caused the fog and it kind of weirds him out. It seems like they ride forever and then finally Lan says, stop. Through the fog, Rand can see houses. They've reached Turin Ferry. Rand's never been to Turin Ferry, but the people around here are known for being sly and kind of snobby. There's a saying, if you shake hands with a Turin ferryman, you count your fingers afterwards. They approach this house and Lan goes up the stairs and starts hammering his fist on the door. Matt's like, I thought he wanted us to be quiet. Lan keeps pounding on the door. Someone in another house shouts at him, hey, cut that out. Lan doesn't care, he goes on knocking. Suddenly the door flings open and there's this guy in a nightshirt. First he looks pissed and then he sees all the fog and he's like, what the hell? Lan says, Master Hightower, we would like to cross over on your ferry. And this Hightower guy is like, are you kidding? We're closed. Come back when the fog is gone and the sun is up. Hightower starts to go and Lan grabs him. Then Lan starts counting gold coins into his palm. Suddenly Hightower seems a little less annoyed and a little more interested. And Lan says, I'll give you as much again once we're on the other side. But we leave now. Hightower's like, yeah, actually, now works, I forgot. But you gotta let go of me, I gotta go wake everyone up. What do you think, I run the ferry by myself? Lan says, fine, we'll wait at the ferry for a little while. Hightower's like, yeah. He clutches his coins and he shuts the door. And that's the end of the chapter, woo! We did another one, good for us. This ends the spoiler-free part of Wheel Talk. The next part of this video is the 13th Depository. I'm going to dive deep on the chapter, there might be spoilers. So if you haven't finished the series, I recommend you don't watch this part. Don't spoil the Wheel of Time for yourself, why would you do that? Absolutely not. I forbid it. Also, if you haven't finished the books, this will sound crazy. I pronounce this meeting sealed to the flame. Now, if you saw last week's Egwene video, you know I love Egwene. I'm really trying to be honest with myself on this read-through about which Egwene moments I don't like. I have to say that even on a first read-through, Egwene in chapter 10 is not my favorite. When she barges in and she's like, I'm coming too, I want an adventure, you're not doing this without me, it seems so childish to me. When Lan says there's no reason for her to come and every reason for her not to, I'm like, yes, thank you, someone said it. At this point, as far as a first-time reader knows, there's zero reason for Egwene to go with them. Moiraine says it's part of the pattern, but on my first read-through, I was like, girl, you say that about everything. Moiraine can't always be right about stuff just being part of the pattern. The more you read, the more you realize she totally is. If I look at this moment and I look at Egwene later in the series, I feel like she's grown up a lot. So I don't think it's a bad moment for her. I think it contributes to her arc, but I am kind of like, Egwene, why are you going? So as much as I like Egwene, I grow into it, and at this point in the story, I'm like, you seem a little young for your age. Okay, let's talk about the show. So in this week's reading, we come across the second chapter that shares a title with one of the show's episodes. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with these, but let's go through the names of the season 1 episodes. This is exciting, say them with me. Leave Taking, Shadows Waiting, A Place of Safety, The Dragon Reborn, Blood Calls Blood, The Flame of Tarpaulin. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know the names of the last 2 episodes. If you've looked these up, you may have noticed episodes 1 through 3 are named after chapters in the Eye of the World. Episodes 4 through 6 are all chapter titles in The Great Hunt. Does that mean that what goes down in those chapters is going to go down in those episodes? No, we don't know that. We don't know what the show's going to do, but making predictions is super fun, so let's go for it. So, starting with episode 1, Leave Taking. Pretty straightforward. I think it's safe to assume that in the first episode, Moiraine comes to the 2 rivers, we see Winter Night, Moiraine heals Tam, Moiraine's carpool leaves Emond's field. We might even get to see a drag car in the first episode. Episode 2 is called Shadows Waiting. Shadows Waiting is chapter 19 in the Eye of the World. It's the Shadar Logoth chapter. I do think this will be the Shadar Logoth episode. Episode 3, I'm not so sure. A Place of Safety. A Place of Safety is chapter 8 of the Eye of the World. Moiraine says to Rand, we've got to go to Tarpaulin because you'll be safe there. It's a place of safety. So it's possible that this is referring to Tarpaulin. I don't know about that. After Shadar Logoth, Tom, Matt, and Rand find Bail Doman's ship on the Arenal, and they ride to Whitebridge. Whitebridge could be a place of safety after what happened at Shadar Logoth. That makes sense, but I wonder if the idea of Tarpaulin being a place of safety ties into this episode. Maybe episode 3 gives us some of Rand's dreams. See Ishamael plant the idea in Rand's head that Tarpaulin is not a place of safety, the Black Aja is there. Maybe the episode calls into question whether Tarpaulin really is a place of safety. That could happen too, or maybe both. Who knows? Of these episode names, only the first 3 are chapters in the Eye of the World. Episodes 4 through 6 are Great Hunt chapters. So it's possible episode 3 will wrap up the Eye of the World. When they're riding through the Blight, trying to get away from the worms, and they're safe with the Green Man, that could be a place of safety. Interesting. We'll see. Get it? The Dragon Reborn. In The Great Hunt, this is where Rand has a meeting with Swan and Moiraine. Swan says, I know you can channel. Also, you're the Dragon Reborn. Maria Doyle Kennedy has been cast, and we don't know for sure that she's Swan, but she just has a great look for Swan Sanche. Also, I want to see the Amyrlin in season 1. That would be cool. The Dragon Reborn is also the chapter where Lan gives Nynaeve his signet ring. That would be fun to see. Episode 5, Blood Calls Blood. This is interesting to me. In The Great Hunt, this is the chapter where Varen reads to Swan what was written on the dungeon wall. Again, the seed slays ancient wrong. Before the great lord comes, now the great lord comes. Blood feeds blood. Blood calls blood. Blood is, and blood was, and blood shall ever be. Now the great lord comes. She also announces that one of the boys traveling with Moiraine must be the Dragon Reborn, and totally freaks out Moiraine and Swan. It's a fun Varen moment. Varen doesn't have to be the one to share this prophecy, but the fact that it's called Blood Calls Blood, it gives me some hope that we might meet Varen in season 1. I'm holding out for that. I do think, based on this, that we will probably get the attack on Fal Dara. That would be cool. It's a great fight, and we get to see the horn stolen, which is a really intense thing. Would love to see the attack on Fal Dara. Episode 6, The Flame of Tarpaulin. I don't know. The Flame of Tarpaulin is the name of the first chapter in The Great Hunt. It's where Rand is practicing with Lan. We get our first bubble of evil. It's this crazy wind. It's called the Flame of Tarpaulin because at the end of the chapter, the Amyrlin arrives in Fal Dara. Based on the 2 episode names before this, I think we might meet Swan earlier, but who knows? There are really a lot of things this chapter could be. It could be an episode focusing on Swan. It could be an episode where we visit the White Tower for the first time. I don't know. Hard to say without seeing the last 2 episode names, but I am very hopeful we're gonna meet Swan, and still a little hopeful we might meet Varen. We'll spend another 13th Depository talking about the casting. So far for me, the most interesting thing about the casting, they've cast Liandrin, but we don't have an Elida, and we don't have a Varen as far as we know. Why would that be? I think it's fun to think about what the season finale might be. The fact that Liandrin has been cast makes me wonder if season 1 ends with Egwene being collared. That moment is... it's hard. I think about that moment a lot when I think about the show. It's so hard to read. I'm already preparing myself for how difficult that is going to be to watch. This is something that we deal with in the Wheel of Time. Damane are a thing, and it's horrible. It's just horrible. I think we really need to understand how horrible this thing they're doing is. I think it's important for us to see emotionally what it's like. See it through Egwene's eyes. That's not going to be easy. How do you predict season 1 will end? Let me know. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Any thoughts you have, you can leave them in the comments, or you can always email me at letsgetwheel@gmail.com. If you can like the video, subscribe, it really helps. I appreciate it. Also, I'm trying some new things with Wheel Talk, and we just started a Discord. It's been super fun. So if you'd like to join us on there, please do. I'll include a link in the notes. Until next week, walk in the light and keep it wheel. Winona. Yes, I want another glass. What did you think? I called you over to see how you're doing? Unbelievable.